La Palma, thousands evacuated as Canary Island wildfire burns. Thousands of residents of La Palma in the Canary Islands have been urged to leave their homes as emergency workers try to bring a wildfire under control. The blaze began early on Saturday and has already consumed 4,500 hectares, 11,100 acres, of land and at least a dozen homes. Around 400 troops from various agencies are on the ground tackling the blaze. Officials said some 4,255 people had been evacuated but that others were declining to leave. It comes less than 2 years after a volcano erupted on the island, destroying thousands of homes. Fernando Clavillo, president of the Canary Islands regional government, said there was resistance to abandoning the houses, but that the priority had to be saving lives. People come first, then the houses, and then extinguishing the fire, he said. The blaze began in the area of El Pinar in the northwestern municipality of Punta Gorda, before spreading south towards the town of Tijarafe. Mr. Clavillo attributed its quick spread to the wind, the climate conditions as well as the heat wave that we are living through. Late on Saturday, he said its progress had slowed but that it remained out of control. A seaplane was used to tackle the fire before nightfall. A second will join the operation on Sunday, local media have reported. The Spanish army has deployed 150 of its firefighters and a further unit is expected to follow. The Red Cross has also set up a facility to assist evacuees. 1. No respite in sight for heat-stricken southern Europe. 2. U.S. heat wave threatens new records. Writing on Twitter, Spanish President Pedro Sanchez said he had spoken to Mr. Clavillo to convey his solidarity with the people affected by the fire and put all the necessary means at the disposal of La Palma's authorities. Speaking to the BBC World Service, resident Leon Barreto expressed a reluctance to evacuate. "The civil guard comes here and wants to force you to leave your home," he said. "They want to force you to lose everything you have worked for all your life, and to leave and let it burn because it's protocol. But then they don't have the protocol to act the way they should act." The fire comes amid a heat wave that has brought soaring temperatures to much of southern Europe and which is expected to continue into the coming week. Periods of intense heat occur within natural weather patterns, but globally they are becoming more frequent, more intense and are lasting longer due to global warming. South Korea flood. 9 bodies recovered from flooded Korea tunnel. Rescuers working to reach cars trapped in a flooded tunnel near the South Korean city of Chongju have recovered 9 bodies. Floodwater caused by days of torrential rain poured so quickly into the underpass that passengers and drivers were trapped in their cars, unable to escape. At least 35 people have died in total after flooding, landslides and power cuts across much of the country. More than 10 people are missing. It is unclear how many people are still trapped in the 685-meter-long tunnel in the town of Osong, but 15 vehicles are thought to be submerged. Several of the bodies were recovered from inside a bus. 9 survivors were rescued on Saturday. Most of the other fatalities have been in the mountainous North Gyeongsang region, where landslides have swept away whole houses. Almost 300 millimeters (11.8 inches) of rain is reported to have fallen across South Korea on Saturday. The country typically sees 1,000 millimeters (39.4 inches) to 1,800 millimeters (70.9 inches) a year, according to the Korean Meteorological Association, although much of that does fall during the summer months. Aerial pictures from flood-affected areas show brown mud and floodwaters so deep, only the tops of roofs can be seen sticking out. Thousands of people have been affected by evacuation orders issued by various local governments, and Prime Minister Han Duck-soo has asked the military to help with the rescue efforts. Early on Saturday morning local time, some 6,400 residents were evacuated after the Gozan Dam, also in North Chungcheong, began to overflow, the agency said. A number of low-lying villages near the dam as well as many of the roads connecting them were submerged, leaving some residents trapped in their homes. 1. Deadly floods sweep Asia in intense monsoon season. 2. 4 ways climate change is affecting the weather. Late on Friday, a landslide caused a train to derail in North Chungcheong. 1 engineer was injured, but the train was not carrying passengers at the time. Korail, the country's national rail operator, has announced the suspension of all slow trains and some bullet trains, and said other bullet services would be disrupted. The Korea Meteorological Administration forecast more rainfall through to Wednesday next week. It warned that the weather conditions pose a grave danger. Extreme rain has caused floods and landslides across several countries, including India, China and Japan, over the past fortnight. While many factors contribute to flooding, scientists say a warming atmosphere caused by climate change makes extreme rainfall more likely. The warmer it becomes, the more moisture the atmosphere can hold, resulting in more droplets and heavier rainfall, sometimes in a shorter space of time and over a smaller area.